In 2009, Dr. Robert Lanza, a distinguished scientist renowned for his groundbreaking work in cloning and stem cell research, presented a theory that shook the foundations of modern science. His assertion was radical yet profound: reality, as we perceive it, does not exist independently of consciousness. Instead, consciousness itself is fundamental to the existence and properties of everything in the universe. Traditionally, science has viewed consciousness as an emergent property of the brain, a product of neuronal activity and complex biochemical interactions. However, Lanza's theory flips this perspective entirely. According to him, consciousness precedes and shapes the physical world. In other words, what we perceive as external reality, including particles, objects, and even space-time itself, are manifestations of consciousness. This perspective draws heavily from quantum mechanics, where the role of the observer is pivotal. Quantum experiments consistently demonstrate that the act of observation influences the behavior and properties of particles. Lanza extrapolates this principle to argue that the entire cosmos exists within consciousness. Every measurement, every observation, and every experience are not just passive reflections of an external reality but active participations in the creation of reality itself. Lanza's ideas challenge conventional notions of life, death, and the nature of existence. He posits that consciousness is not confined to the boundaries of the physical body nor extinguished at death. Instead, consciousness transcends individuality and temporal limitations, existing as a fundamental aspect of the universe. Critics within the scientific community have grappled with Lanza's assertions, which diverge sharply from mainstream interpretations. Yet, his theory is grounded in decades of research across fields such as biology and quantum physics, suggesting a cohesive framework that seeks to unify our understanding of mind and matter. Ultimately, Lanza's work invites profound philosophical inquiries into the nature of consciousness and reality. It challenges us to reconsider our fundamental assumptions about the universe and our place within it. Whether embraced or debated, his theory continues to provoke thought and exploration at the intersection of science, philosophy, and human consciousness. 1. The double-slit experiment: reality needs an observer. This is one of the most famous experiments in quantum physics, and it directly supports Lanza's claim that particles do not have definite properties until observed. The setup. Scientists fired particles, like electrons or photons, at a barrier with two slits. When no one observed which slit the particle went through, the particles created an interference pattern on a screen behind the slits, like waves, not particles. But when scientists placed a measuring device to observe which slit the particle passed through, the interference pattern disappeared, and the particles behaved like solid objects. The implication. This means that the particle's behavior, whether it acts like a wave or a particle, is determined by the observer's act of measurement. Before observation, the particle exists in a state of probability, not in a defined location. This completely aligns with Lanza's view: the physical world only collapses into a concrete state when it is being experienced or measured. 2. The delayed choice experiment: the future affects the past. Proposed by physicist John Wheeler, this experiment took the double-slit idea even further. The experiment. Wheeler suggested a setup where the decision to observe or not observe the particle is made after the particle has already passed through the slits. Result. Incredibly, the results showed that the particle's past behavior was influenced by the future choice of whether to observe it or not. Why is this radical? It suggests that time, like space, is not an absolute structure independent of consciousness. Observation appears to reach back in time and affect how reality behaved before the observation took place. This matches perfectly with Lanza's statement that time and space are not external objects, they are tools of our consciousness. 3. Quantum entanglement. Everything is connected beyond spacetime. Entanglement shows that two particles can be linked so that the state of one instantly affects the other, even if they are light years apart. Einstein called this spooky action at a distance because it seemed to violate the speed of light limit. What does this suggest? It implies that there is a level of reality beyond space and time, a realm where separation is an illusion. Space is not a container where things sit, rather, it's a structure created by consciousness to organize experience. Lanza would argue, if particles can interact instantly regardless of distance, then space is not fundamental, consciousness is. 4. The participatory anthropic principle. Reality requires observers. Theoretical physicist John Wheeler also proposed that the universe is participatory, it requires observers to bring it into being. Without conscious observation, the universe exists only in a state of potentiality. This idea supports Lanza's assertion that life and consciousness are not accidental byproducts of the universe. They are its very foundation. In summary, science is catching up to ancient wisdom. Lanza's theory echoes both the latest quantum experiments and ancient spiritual teachings from traditions like Vedanta, Buddhism, and mystical Christianity. You are not the body. You are the observer, the eternal witness. What you call I has never been the body. The body is an experience within consciousness. The real I is not located in the world is located within the I that observes. Experiments in quantum mechanics now point to this shocking conclusion. Without consciousness, there is no reality. Space and time arise from within consciousness, not the other way around. Death is not the end, because what you really are has never been the body, but the timeless observer.